At the end of this video, you will find out when are the best times to trade the Forex market. Welcome to Forex Trader, where we will give you the secrets on how to beat the Forex market. If you want to learn how to grow your trading account, start now by subscribing to the channel by clicking the subscribe button below this video, and make sure you turn on the notification bell so you will be the first one to know whenever I release a new video. Now let's go through what we will be covering. Number 1, introduction. Number 2, market sessions. Number 3, market overlaps. Number 4, indicators. Let's get started. So the Forex market is open 24 hours a day for 5 days a week, from Monday to Friday. Throughout the year, there are only 2 days except for weekends that the market is closed, which is Christmas and New Year. When a lot of new traders hear this, they will be like, wow, there's a lot of profits to be made. I can trade every single second, every single hour. Is that the case? Apparently not. Sadly, the answer is no. Although the Forex market is open 24 hours a day, it does not mean that there are trades every single hour. I personally like to trade the markets when there is some movement. When there is some movement, it allows me to identify whether there is a trend, upward, downwards, or there is no trend. By knowing the trend, it actually helps us to have more accurate trades. Are there specific times of the day when price moves faster? And the answer is yes.
Oh my god! Wow!
Prices actually move faster when the market makers are trading. Who are market makers? Basically large banks or financial institutions. When the wolves of Wall Street finish their morning coffee and start to trade, that is when the market starts to move. These market makers, they will be flooding the markets with their money. Prices move a lot. By knowing when do they trade, we are able to capitalize on this, give us that slight edge over the market. Can we know when do they trade? And the answer is yes. Let's head over to part 2 of this video. In Forex, there are 4 main sessions: Sydney session, Tokyo session, London session, New York session. These are the 4 major sessions of Forex, and these are the only sessions you have to remember. If you're talking about the largest sessions, then those sessions would definitely be New York session and the London session. So right now, let's look into the opening hours of every single session. Just go to forexmarkethours.com. If you're interested, I'll leave a link in the description below. Just head down over here and set your time zone. So I am in Malaysia, so I'll just set it to +8. Now the website will show us the time of the sessions in our time zone. You can see that the times of the London, New York, Tokyo and Sydney sessions are listed for you. This way you don't have to go and convert them one by one. You can also find which session time is more suited for you. It also shows me when the market overlaps are. You can see the London, New York overlap is here. The Sydney, Tokyo overlap is here. And there's one more overlap. It's the Tokyo, London overlap. That's just 1 hour. Now that you know how to find the times of the market session in your time zone, now let's move over to the next part of this video. Market overlaps. I like to trade overlaps a lot. I don't trade every overlap. I normally love the London and New York overlap because during that session, it has most volatility. Most of the time, my trades are actually more accurate. In trading, the most important thing is to know the direction of the trend. You have to know the direction where the price is going to. And if you can do that, you have a high percentage of getting a trade. You can see that the London and New York overlap actually has 1, 2, 3, 4 hours overlap. If I'm scalping, those are the 4 hours that I will be trading. Something else to note will be the daylight savings in certain countries. Daylight savings affect market opening times, and this occurs around March, April. It ends around October, November. During this period, some countries actually move their clocks forward by an hour. This is something to take note of. If you like this video so far and you would like to see more videos like this, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. You will be the first one to know whenever I release a new video like this. Another way to incorporate market sessions into your trading strategy would be to use a charting software called TradingView. So TradingView is something that I use on a regular basis. I use it daily for my charting purposes. I normally chart on TradingView and make the trades on MetaTrader 4. Go to your chart. Now press on the FX button right here on the top and let's search for sessions. Now I use this Sessions Asia, London, New York by Vedas. Just press it. So you're gonna get something like this. Each color represents a session. Blue color represents the Asian session. The green color represents the London session. And the brown color represents the London, New York overlap. Red color represents the New York session. However, when you have too many colors like this, you get confused. So what you want to do, go to the indicator name on the top left here and press on the settings. So now you can adjust the colors. So what I like to do is I like to put the Asia session as white. After you put it to white, just press OK. So now you have a clear separation of each session. You can see clearly that this is the Asian session, London, New York overlap, and New York session. So if you are interested in incorporating market sessions into your trading strategy, TradingView is something I really recommend you to use. You can use market sessions indicators. If you're interested in getting this software, I'll leave a link in the description box below. During this day, the Asian session, prices did not move a lot. But when the London session starts, price actually retraced a little and started going on the uptrend. And during the New York session, it went on a downtrend. But you can see the pip movement is large. During the London session and the New York session has a much larger range than the Asian session. Now let's look at the day before that. You can see that the candles during the Asian sessions is quite small. And when it reached the London and New York session, candles become bigger. It means that more traders are coming in, although this is not a very clear trend. So you can see there's more volatility in the London and New York session in compared to the Asian session. Let's look at the day before that. It's the same. You can see small candles around the Asian session. Once it starts getting to the London session, the candles starts going crazy. The candles are getting bigger and bigger. You can see it's a massive downtrend during the London session. It's the same again for this day. The candles are way bigger during the US session and the London session in comparison to the Asian session. After listening to the entire video, I'm sure that you have a better idea of how the markets work and how market sessions work. So now it's time to sit down and think how to incorporate this into your trading strategy. But before that, let me give you some additional tips. So for your convenience, I made a list where I ranked my favorite session to my least favorite session to trade. Number 1 on the list is the New York-London overlap. As I've mentioned in the video, this overlap has the best volatility, which makes it my top choice. I find that there are usually very strong trends during this overlap, which is good for my intraday trades. Number 2 on the list would be the London session. There are also a lot of strong trends during this session. I usually trade a lot during this session. A lot of times, I will open my trades until the end of the New York-London overlap since I find that the trend usually continues into that session. Number 3 would be the New York session. The primary reason why I don't trade this session is because I'm usually asleep during this session, so I don't really trade it. If you live in a different time zone, however, then you might prefer to trade this session. I only trade the first few hours of the session during the New York and London overlap. And I prefer to close my intraday positions when the overlap ends. Since my trades are usually open from the London session, there has been many occurrences where price actually retraces during the New York session and hits my tight stop loss. Number 4 would be the Tokyo session. I find a lower number of trades here due to the lower volatility, so I don't really like to trade this session. So these are all my personal preference and personal observations. It may vary from person to person. For example, if you are from the US, you might prefer trading the New York session, and that is completely fine. The list should only be taken as a reference to build your own trading strategy. Remember, there is no wrong or right in trading. The most important thing is to find a trading strategy suited to you. Market sessions has a larger importance when you are trading intraday, which means 1 hour charts and below. If you cannot fit your time into trading any of these sessions, you can definitely look into swing trading or even position trading, which uses charts that are longer than 4 hours. So thanks for watching, and if you like videos like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel and let me know what else you would like to see in the comments below. and I'll see you in the next video.